No one knows more about fishing the First Coast than Captain Kevin Faber. The Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show.
Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services.
An Awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Looking for ways to save on your JEA bill? We're on it. When it comes to your utilities, the less you use, the more you can save. That's why JEA offers ways to help you manage your usage and avoid higher than expected bills. Use our online tools to monitor your usage throughout the month. Schedule a free irrigation or energy efficiency assessment and get personalized tips to save. And with JEA rebates, you can save when upgrading to more efficient equipment. Find more ways to save at JEA.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Want to stretch that dollar? Taylor Doll here to help save you money with the Money Pages magazine and app. Trying to figure out dinner? Money Pages has deals at your favorite local restaurants. Need auto repairs or an oil change? Money Pages has coupons to help you save. Looking to do some home improvement projects? Money Pages has deals on everything home, from AC repair and plumbing to flooring and painting. Check your mailbox for Money Pages today and download the app for savings on the go.
Enclosures built for a lifetime. Lifetime enclosures.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Think ahead and get your backyard ready for fall. 15% off projects and an additional in-showroom discount for both flooring and enclosures just for visiting. Maximize your space with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring.
Lifetime enclosures.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55-plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
I'm Olivia Brooks with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by JEA. The Jumbo Shrimp are back at home next week for a 6-game series against Memphis. Tuesday, July 28th through Sunday, August 2nd. There's fun for everyone at the ballpark. Enjoy fireworks, military appreciation night, back to school night, and more. So grab the whole family and come support the Shrimp for a full week of First Coast baseball. It's 92 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
We have no Lauren Brooks today. She is enjoying a birthday weekend scalloping. Hopefully she comes back with a lot of scallops. I know weather's a little iffy there was like a tropical depression or something forming out there, so hopefully they miss all of that. But it's Friday, and Tommy, what if I told you that this is the last Friday until February that we'll be talking about we won't have some sort of football to talk about.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank goodness, right? It's here. I mean, it's kind of been here. It's funny. I mean, we've been talking off air throughout the weeks, you know, how fortunate we have been to have the World Cup, you know, and to have
get us through the dry time.
Yeah, get us through the dry time, you know, and other sports as well, and getting behind that. But look, football's year round.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL Network proved that a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Jaguars today has been proving it forever, you know, but it is now the way this calendar is, it's pretty much year round.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have 1 month where there's nothing going on at all.
A tiny little. You get those 6 weeks where they
6
get,
weeks,
they're like,
basically.
here's your 6 weeks off. But even then, you're still getting so much content during that period of time.
Combine stuff, free agent babies, coaches moving on.
Yeah, and that's what. So you still have so many conversations with that, and now with all the podcasts and different things like that, coaches are going on shows and players are going on shows. The NFL obviously still in the midst of their NFL Top 100, so they've let that drag on normally.
I know. 2 a day. I mean, please.
They didn't have to do that, but that's the NFL rules the world, and they know how to do it as to being able to have a full year-long schedule. And so I do think that, but it does get to that point where now next week camp starts, and then in a few weeks we're going to be talking about preseason games, and then college football starting, and then football starts, and it feels like it's a go from there.
It's right here, and it's an exciting time to be a Jaguar fan. I know a lot of fans could say that out there about their respective teams, but we're expecting another really good year from this team, and what that means depends on the individual. For us, or for me, it's, get to the playoffs. You're a playoff team. Yeah, I know you're a playoff caliber team. You can see it. You can tell that you're coached that way. You're run that way. Your mindset's that way. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I hope camp, I've said this before, I hope it's a little more physical than last year. And I don't mean like full speed live scrimmage. I don't mean that, but more thudding, more thudding up, more like, taking on those linemen, beating that one-on-one, those kind of things, in a team setting, not just the individual drills. You know what I mean?
Because I do think that going back, remembering last year, there were only a couple of those where I remember us on the show the next day being like, oh, that was a physical practice. Correct. And so to be able to see some of those, and especially right now when we're talking about what the offensive line may look like with some of these young guys and Pregnon, and the guard talk is going to be a big part of that. That left tackle, without Cole Van Lanen, we're waiting to see. So here's some more on Cole Van Lanen, and that's going to be some of the interesting stuff too. We've talked so much about Caleb Ransaw, for example, or Chris Rodriguez, but an interesting one is going to be Cole Van Lanen once we get more information on that, because it really felt like there was a lot of excited people when it felt like, oh, we just landed a left tackle of the future, and then an injury happens.
Yeah, and look, you got Wyatt Milam. I think he can play tackle. I think he's athletic enough, and obviously he's vicious enough to play guard. I think Pregnon's the guy that I'm keeping an eye on to break the starting lineup. If I have to pick one guy that could break the starting lineup, I think it's him. I think they just want a little bit more beef, a little bit more physicality.
Beef that can move.
Without losing the mobility. And that's him. He's a little bit big. Not that he's that much bigger than the guys, but a little bit built, stronger, thicker, wider, kind of, those massive NFC North or NFC East, type guards, if you will. But they also want him to be able to pull, be able to move. So,
and that's what we've talked.
He's the one to look at.
We've talked a lot about the shift and change of linebackers, Tommy, of how like the coverage side of linebacking has become more and more relevant as as the years have gone and offenses have changed. And we talked about even the defensive tackles, how some of them look different than what we were seeing 15, 20 years ago, especially. And the linemen are another example of that, where it is now like you want the big burly guys, and some teams kind of still lean into just having that like physical guy. That, but so many offenses now. You talk about McVay and Shanahan, even Mike McDaniel's offenses, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen. All of those offenses have a lot of movement to them, and so you have to have. You still want those big guys that can block, but they have to be able to move, and with the physicality, be able to keep up with the motions that are happening on the offense.
Well, that and your offensive linemen, they have to be able to recover. When you get beat initially, you got to have the athleticism to change direction or, go back the other way, what have you. That's where you really, the size is great, but if you don't have the feet with the size, they're going to expose you. Because it's all about, the quickness. It's all about that first step and making you go one way. I mean, look, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, right? The bigger they are, sometimes it's harder for them to change direction and go, I'm all the way this way, and then I got to come back this way. They can do it, don't get me wrong, but the real good ones are athletic enough to do it. But you got to be able to have that recovery, even at the guard position. If you get beat on that initial step, you got to be able to rework those hands, get that foot, that outside foot to their outside or in between them, and make sure that you keep them right there in front of you. So that's what they're looking for. I mean, look, the stink has been very well documented. It's the run game. I know a lot of people are probably, it's ETN. Oh, no, it's not just them. It's inside. It's the tight ends that they drafted. It's the guard in the two guards in the center. There's a stink in there somewhere. They got to fix it. Hopefully they fixed that, because I think with a power running team, will give Trevor that much balance, you know, so he doesn't have to carry the weight the entire year. You want him to be as good as he was without carrying all the weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need a running game to balance that out.
Yeah.
So he's not
Which
your leading
early
rusher.
on last
too.
year, it did. It did feel like the run game helped Trevor out and the passing game a lot last year for whatever reason that fell off midway through the season. Is that because teams started figuring that part of this offense out? Was that Travis Etienne? Was that the offensive line? That's what the Jaguars coaching staff is trying to figure out right now. You talk about Pacucci, them bringing him and adding him to the coaching staff here and what he did in Tampa with that run game. And so all those pieces fitting together is what they're hoping. You didn't make any big splash move with your running back, obviously, so you're hoping that all the other puzzle pieces fit and makes this run game a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you're either moving guys out of the way or you're getting in their way and your back is right on that cut. You know, and it's all that timing. That's why probably he likes bringing Brian Pacucci in. They wouldn't let him a year ago. They will let him this year because he gives her that comfort. He knows what I want out of the running game. He knows the timing I want from the backs. He knows when I want that guard to come off the nose tackle and get up to that linebacker, and he knows that I want my back right on his ass. So nobody can get him, right? And, of course, the tackle's walling his guys out, and there's a nice little gap right in there. Doesn't have to be that wide, just wide enough for my back to get through. So, you know, those are the intricacies of playing that. But at the end of the day, Taylor, they do have to be more physical. They do. I mean, look, even throughout the year, like playing angry. Remember that? Everyone made a big stink. What does he mean?
They play
angry?
better when they are. That was the whole conversation.
It's a violent game. You're supposed to, like, be angry and go try to knock the crap out of the guy in front of you. You know, so they do need a little bit more. Look, when they ended last season, I think you and I and LB, you know, look, you need more beef up front, offense and defense, right? Whether it's healthy, just being healthy, or being a little bit bigger, a little bit more powerful, you need a little bit more beef up front. I think you could say that from a 30,000-foot view when you look at the offense and the defensive line from last year.
Yeah, and there's so many examples around the league in the last few years of that run game being fixed, and even with really great quarterbacks still saying, okay, well, we need to be able to run the ball. And the Josh Allen in Buffalo was a big example. They went and got James Cook because it wasn't like Josh Allen was playing bad, but at some point in time, it's nice to be able to be like, not everything is on you. Yeah, you balance your offense out a little bit. They get James Cook, and all of a sudden, Josh Allen has his best career year as a quarterback. Even this year, you talk about Patrick Mahomes and what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs go get Kenneth Walker because they were like, hey, you know, Mahomes got hurt last year, but they got absolutely annihilated in the Super Bowl the year before, and then they just didn't look the same last year, and that run game was an issue there. And so there's so many teams. The Lions are another example of that. That was like the biggest approach for them coming in, and everyone mocked them at first because they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs so high, and everyone was like, why are you drafting a running back when you have so many holes to fill? And then now look at the conversation they're having there with their run game and them being the offense and how it scores, how balanced it is. Even when Ben Johnson's not there, they didn't win as many games last year, but their offense still scored one of the highest points per game in the league last year.
Look at Houston. If they had a running game, maybe they'd have been a little bit better in the playoffs. You know, now they feel like they have a running game. You know, they got 3 new offensive linemen. They got David Montgomery, Woody Marks off the bench. You know, we'll see what happens with Stroud, but they're counting on that running game to give them balance. So because they had it with Mixon. Mixon was a badass back. I mean, he was a really good back. It's too bad, you know, whatever happened to him off the field. They said something about some accidental foot shooting or something.
I've heard something like that. That was one of the reports. I also heard that one of the Bengals players just told, I saw a report recently that Joe's pretty much been like, my career's over, which is unfortunate. Yeah, because he was a really good running back, and you saw that in multiple spots, and an injury
kind of keep that safety on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On the gun. You got to keep the safety on. So we're gonna shoot off in your
We're going to talk a lot about the running backs today, and just the run game and how that looks throughout the NFL. We'll get to some of the other maybe underrated players in the AFC South who for the Jaguars we may categorize in that. So we'll talk a lot about that, but I also wanted to give a shout out to Chick-fil-A today. They swung by, gave us all of the summer treats that they're promoting right now. I have the strawberry hibiscus lemonade right now. Absolutely delicious. If you're talking about just something refreshing during summertime that you need, that's perfect. They also dropped off those peach milkshakes that I've been talking about. So that ice cream dessert that Chick-fil-A has, you can get just the regular ice cream, but if you add those fresh peaches in it, you talk about another summer refreshing treat.
Peach's dream.
Peach's dream. They also the honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich that I've been talking about too. I had one of those today. Absolutely really delicious. It's the regular chicken sandwich, but it has the pepper. It's like a honey pepper sauce on it, and then it has the pimento cheese with it too. So that was absolutely delicious. They dropped off some chips. It's like waffle fried chips, which were fantastic too. And they have a Chick-fil-A sauce one, just a salt one. So if you're a fan of any of those sauces, any of those sandwiches, make sure you swing by Chick-fil-A because they're only here for a limited time this summer, and then they're off the menu. So make sure you swing by and grab one of those. Also, listen for the show a little bit later, and you can probably get some free lunch if you're listening at that time. So shout out again, and thank you to Chick-fil-A for feeding us, the whole office, lunch today. So we'll get into some more Jaguars, some more running back talk on the other side coming up here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Duval all day. Search 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank Performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. One winner gets round-trip airfare for 2, 4 nights hotel, and 2 tickets to the Jags game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 6/29 to 8/27/26. Get official rules and details at everbank.com/London Rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A. Member FDIC.
Helmets and Heels Friday
is brightened by Bowden Iron Associates.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
at 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Hey, I'll be home in about 10 minutes. Actually, make it 8.
Hey, Mom. Yep, I'm walking home now. Mom, I'm trying to cross, but I don't think this driver sees me. No, they're driving too fast. Mom!
Speeding catches up with you. Early, on time, a little late, just get there safely. A message from the Florida Department of Transportation's Target Zero initiative.
It's almost time to kick off the 2026 season at the bank. Whether you want to be at the center of it all as a season ticket member, lock in 3 or more games with a bundle at the bank, or cheer on the Jags at your most anticipated matchup, there's a way for everyone to be a part of the action. Seating is limited, so don't wait. Secure your tickets now by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here. You want to win wings from Mr. Chubby's or tacos from Taco Lou? How about some chocolate from Peterbook? All we need you to do is tell us more about you by filling out the 1010 listener survey at 1010XL.com. What kind of vehicles do you drive? Are you a business owner? What part of 1010XL do you like the most? We want to get to know you better so we can serve you better. Go to 1010XL.com, fill out the survey, and you could be a winner.
Ever call a service company for a simple repair, and suddenly you're being told you need to replace everything in your house? Not at Duck Rooter. Whether it's plumbing, septic, or air conditioning, we start with one goal. Solve the problem you called about. No pressure, no scare tactics, no surprise charges. Just honest service done right. That's why homeowners across Northeast Florida trust Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckrooter.com.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit card, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. Tom McManus here. Taylor Dahl here. Jared Justice producing for us today. Jared, is it your last day with us?
I don't know.
Okay, it's to be determined.
I think so, but I was saying before the show, I've finally got it where I'm like, okay, I'm super comfortable, and that's when they normally take me off the show.
Yeah, time's up.
Yeah, you're the glue, though. That's all right. You're the glue. You're the gap glue.
Hey, I love that.
Yeah.
I love coming off the bench.
There
We
you go.
appreciate you this week
Heck
and
yeah,
got
man.
to know
Big
you
time.
a little bit better, which is always fun.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of conversation that's going to come into this. We've already had the bits of, okay, did you replace ETN? How do you replace ETN? What does the running back room look like? What steps can Tootin take? And it seems like some of the conversations that we heard from Liam Cohen yesterday with Peter Schrager, he's very confident that Bashal Tootin could come in and take that next step up and run this offense. He was kind of talking about the focus of, last year of just controlling the ball, not losing the ball. Those fumbles, which were an issue for him in college, was the main focal point last year. And this year you get to unleash him a little bit, which you made the point yesterday, Tommy. That's what they did with Trevor this last year of, hey, here's all of these things you've got to learn. Let's get these things right, and then we'll let it rip. And that's what we kind of saw in that second half with Trevor. So is that kind of what you're expecting with the Bashal Tootin this year too? Just letting him go?
Yeah, but before I answer that, I want to ask you a question with that comment Liam said about Tootin, right? And I believe him.
Yeah.
Just going to play devil's advocate. So if you really believe that in Bashal Tootin, why'd you jump at Chris Rodriguez? Why'd you try to go get the J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah.
Keep want to call him TK. Why that then?
Yeah.
I don't. It's insurance policy. I get it.
Yeah.
I thought last year one of them was the insurance policy. We didn't know which one. Not the rookies, of course, but either Tank or ETN.
Yep.
ETN ended up winning the job. He was perfect. You didn't have to jam the rookies in, right? Yep. You heard what Bashal Tootin was talking about, thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You got a guy a veteran that's been there, done that, kind of got it a little bit quicker, maybe more comfortable with him. He was your insurance policy. Do you go out and get an insurance policy? It's fine.
Yeah.
The guys get hurt. You need someone to step in, right? Okay, then you went after Amir Abdullah, who was with who last year? The Colts, I think, backing up JT, right? Jonathan Taylor. So, okay, you need another. Okay, Jamari Taylor, you grab him. That's free agent. So that's just like, let's get a flyer on him, see if he can do anything. So, and then I still think, I wonder, is there still a move to be made?
Yeah.
What if 2 weeks in, you're not happy with either one?
Yeah.
I don't know. For whatever reason.
Yeah. This
Look,
is what we just said was our biggest stink. If that's your biggest stink, you want it to be at least feel like it's resolved. And if you get a few weeks into camp and you're like, this is not what I wanted the run game to look like.
Yeah.
Maybe there is another.
Well, and there are guys, so we love them and we want them to be great. I mean, that's for everybody out there, listening or not listening. You're like, no, they're my guys. Tootin's a man. He's going to be unbelievable. I love when people chime in on the podcast where they're like, oh, this guy's going to be. I'm like, well, you don't really know that. Maybe. I hope so.
Yeah, you want to. It's hopeful. It's optimistic. And to your point, too, and I think we've had this conversation in the involvement of the draft, too, of was there a panic button hit a little bit if one of the players they did want went right before, and that's what led to Nate Borkature. We'll never know the answers to that because they're always going to say these are their guys, and this is who they wanted to bring. They're going to say, Liam Cohen used to work, Chris Rodriguez was his guy in college. He's familiar with the system. There's all of those things, and not saying he's a bad back. He just hasn't had a ton of touches in the NFL, so you really haven't been able to see, his full ability. At least that's what some people are saying around the league. But I do think that, to your point, we heard the reports that J.K. Dobbins, they were after him, and they got outbid. And so then you have to kind of settle. So it did feel like to me that they did want to bring somebody else in here, probably a little bit bigger of a name to be in front of Bashal Tootin, which a lot of teams want that veteran running back in the room to be able to, you have somebody who's proven it in the NFL. Right now, you have a lot of guys, to your point, that there's hope, there's glimpses, but there's not this, yes, they've done this in the NFL at a consistent level.
Well, and look, Dempsey told me that he had heard that if the Jags did get J.K., they would have pivoted to Rodriguez Jr.
Okay.
The Broncos.
The Broncos would have.
Okay. So okay, maybe if that's true, I know Mike doesn't make stuff up. So let's just say that's true. Then okay. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm just saying if Bashal Tootin
If you're that confident that's your guy, you tried a lot of things to get somebody else in the room.
If he all year, let's just say he beat out ETN or took over week 3 and had 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking at the running back room at all in the offseason?
Yeah, probably not.
You got
at least maybe deep into the draft, but you're not talking about it.
You're not trying to go get some starter. You're not trying to get J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get anybody like that. So, again, there's hope, which is, wishful thinking is fine. I do too. I hope the kid's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What I say yesterday, that video, I could see him getting a handoff, breaking a tackle, and bam, gone. And we're all our heads are blown off holy.
We knew this could happen. That's that kind of mindset.
Correct. And no comparison at all. But when Fred Taylor did that on his first carry, we were all like, holy cow, I can't believe he is on our team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying but if he does those kind of things, he's got the speed to do it. Then okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then maybe you don't need another insurance policy
names.
after next year or this year.
Well, and that's what, to your point, the Denver Broncos had a young guy too, and RJ Harvey that they drafted in 2025, and RJ was good but not great. So they're like, let's go get a veteran guy that we feel like can come in here. RJ Harvey can be behind him, and hopefully you get some development out of him, and eventually RJ Harvey can be your guy. It does feel like that's kind of what the Jags wanted to do also. But yeah, the running back is just going to be interesting. I wanted to play a clip that I found of, it was from the Roto World podcast. Denny Carter was talking about, they were having a conversation more so kind of in the fantasy perspective of which running backs make sense to draft, and each team they were going through, okay, get this guy or get this guy. And the conversation between Bashal Tootin, Chris Rodriguez, which of those they feel like people should target in the fantasy world, but that leads to it being a conversation of they think who is going to get more touches and more yards, and that conversation we'll see as the year goes. But I did want to play this clip because it was interesting, some of the things that they were kind of, their perspective of what this running back room looks like.
Did you know that Chris Rodriguez was among Liam Cohen's first recruits when Cohen was at the University of Kentucky?
It's over for Bashal Tootin.
I thought the same thing.
over. Oh, my God.
He has, Cohen has loved Chris Rodriguez for a long time. And he very much intentionally got him this past offseason. So I don't put a lot of stock in this. Unless C-Rod, my guy, is still struggling with this foot injury in a month or two, then he should be okay. And I'm avoiding Tootin. I'm fading Tootin right now.
Man, that was like an elite data point. Truly elite. That stuff, recruited him as 18. They never get over that stuff.
No.
They still just see the player. They saw it Central High or whatever. They never, ever move past that.
Yeah, but they wanted Dobbins first, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How much did they want Chris Rodriguez?
Well, he's a nice pivot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you did have to pivot, sometimes you got to pivot.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not like you're the first, team to ever lose a bid on a guy, and then you're like, well, I don't want to be standing there with empty hands. Well, who am I going to get? Who do I got to go get to give me that insurance?
Yeah.
I think Dobbins gives you a little more certainty that, okay, he's not only just an insurance guy, he could be our guy kind of thing. Where I still think with Rodriguez, he's still a rollback. He's not. I don't think there's going to be a workhorse unless Tootin can prove that he's the workhorse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, and hey, maybe Rodriguez can too. I don't know. I know the whole 4 yards per carry. He runs through people.
Yeah.
I want to see all that. Well, to me, that means short yardage, goal line, some really tough yards, maybe 4 minute. You know what I mean? But if Tootin can show that he can be a reliable back, like he did in the Buffalo game. I know they didn't go back to him, but when he did in the Buffalo game, where you saw, it's almost like the light went on a little bit. It went on against the Jets, but the Jets were terrible.
Yeah.
Defense wasn't terrible, but they weren't that good overall.
Yeah.
And I know he had a pretty decent game there, but if he can show that, he has the goods, that he's going to hold on to the football, that he can pick up the blitz, that he can take it to the house, that he can be relied upon in the passing game, maybe be great.
Well, and that's what I see a world, and I've said this on the show already, but I see a world where Chris Rodriguez is more of that type of guy because he is that like pounder bruiser guy that when you need that yard or two, he'll get it for you. Obviously, they've talked about that and those goal line situations. We've used Trevor so much, which is great to have a quarterback that you trust when you're in the red zone or that goal line that he can, for a while, was just reach over. But we saw him use his legs quite a bit. Obviously, a lot of rushing touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence this year. And so it's great. It's great to have a quarterback that can do that, but it's also good to have a back that you can feel like you count on in those moments. And I do feel like Chris Rodriguez is that type of guy. So I could see by at the end of the season, we're talking about a world where maybe Bashal Tutin got more touches and has more yards, but Chris Rodriguez has double the touchdowns.
But here's the thing. We don't know about the foot.
Yeah.
And
they mentioned that in there.
No, I did.
Like, how healthy are you through camp? And we'll find this out once camp starts. We'll know more information exactly what happened. But until that happens, it is a little bit of a mystery. And it happened, it seems, right before OTA. Something happened. And so that was part of that conversation. So if you miss all of the majority of training camp, how much does that shift it? How much more are you seeing Quint Allen or Jamari Taylor? Do they win a spot?
Well, look, Quint's definitely going to win a spot.
DJ Dallas.
Yeah. DJ's kind of built like Rodriguez. He's 5'10", 225. He's a little bruiser too, you know, and can return kicks.
Yeah, he's thick. When you see him out there, you're like,
wow, that's a thick dude. Yeah, no doubt about it. Look, again, I think that you got one eye still open out there.
Yeah.
A Najee Harris type, if still available. I don't know, but hopefully they don't have to. Hopefully they got it right there. Hopefully Rodriguez's foot is fine. He can start at camp. Hopefully, Tutin can play freely and show why. I love the quote from Lee, like go show everybody how you got here, like why you're here.
Yeah.
Go be yourself. Like that's what I want you to do. It was like what he said to Trev, like you're the number one pick in the draft. Go show them why you're the number one pick in the draft. Like, just go do it. You got all the talent in the world, so go show them.
And Liam Cohen was very vocal, too, when he took this job in Jacksonville, that Trevor Lawrence was a piece of that, a piece of why he wanted to come here to Jacksonville. And so that, to that point, when you talk about a Bashal, too, and it's like, yo, man, we drafted you. We want you to be here.
Fourth round.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't pay ETN.
Yeah.
We very easily could have said, no, you know what? He had a great year, and he's going to have 4 more, and we're going to keep him.
Yep.
And then you'll be battling out for kickoff return.
And Tank, you let Tank go last offseason. So it's those conversations that are in it. Some of the numbers when it comes to Jimmy Shapiro's betting odds.
Okay.
We've talked about the Trevor Lawrence numbers, the touchdowns, and we both believed those were, three believed those would both be over when it comes to yards and touchdowns. For Bashal Tutin right now, it has 750.5 rushing yards, 5.5 rushing touchdowns.
I'm going to say lower on both.
You do?
Yeah. Well, with Rodriguez being a part of it.
If you're thinking still in the more of a by committee type of thing.
Yeah, and if
so 6, maybe 700, 650, something like that for each of them.
Yeah, he might get 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to get 7 or 8, but maybe total pass and run.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of the other numbers that pop out to this, we've talked a lot about David Montgomery because obviously the Houston Texans adding him on. So I was just seeing his numbers. I was trying to find those. So wait, another one we just mentioned, by the way, we talk about RJ Harvey. They have him at 500.5 and 3.5 touchdowns. So that's behind the J.K. Dobbins that we just talked about. In ETN, they have 825.5 and 5.5 touchdowns. So that
I bet you he's over on both.
I would think so too.
Yep.
And it's also the conversation there is how much are they, what does it look like with Alvin Kamara and how much are they going
Who's now coming back?
Yeah.
Kamara, we did his deal. Yeah, to come back.
So David Montgomery, they have 775.5 and 7.5 touchdowns.
That's a high touchdown. I'd say low on the touchdown, but maybe higher on the yards.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of there. I could see more like 6 touchdowns and 850, 900 rushing yards, something like that. We'll see how they use Woody Marks. That's another conversation. When we were talking about those tiers the other day that Bashal Tutin landed in, it was all teams and running backs that seem like it may be at least to start a running back by committee type of offense. And so that's one of those that we kind of believe will be in that. So we'll continue on some more Jaguars talk on the other side. We'll talk about some underrated players here in Jacksonville and around the league. That's coming up next on Helmets and Heels.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care. Official dental partner of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Bowden Eye and Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Summer is made for road trips, beach days, and family vacations. Before you hit the road, make sure your vehicle is ready at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Their trusted technicians can handle your oil change, fluids, filters, and more, all while you stay comfortably in your vehicle. No appointment needed. With convenient locations, a 4.7-star national rating, and named #1 quick lube for customer service by Forbes, it's easy to see why drivers choose Valvoline. Get road trip ready today at Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Key Buick GMC, proudly family owned and operated since 1943. On Southside and JTB, for a limited time, Key Buick GMC has marked down select new GMC Sierra 1500 models. Below employee pricing, you pay less than what our employees pay. Plus, at Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us or shop online at keybuickgmc.com. We are professional grade. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drive time only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
When it comes to orthopedic care, experience matters, and teamwork matters even more. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, our fellowship-trained specialists work together to treat a full range of conditions, from knees and shoulders to spine, sports injuries, and joint replacement. You'll be guided by the right specialist for your needs, with coordinated care and personalized treatment plans designed for better outcomes. Smarter care, faster access, trusted expertise. Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Hunting season in Northeast Florida is just around the corner, and Green Acres Sporting Goods has been serving Jacksonville hunters for over 55 years. And right now, you can lock in a summer deal on an AR-style 12-gauge shotgun for just $299. And while you're there, check out the largest archery pro shop in Northeast Florida and test shoot the newest bows by Hoyt and Matthews. Shop today at Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off air duct cleaning as well. Hick it here. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Take advantage of the savings.
Looking for an exciting, fun-filled evening the whole group can enjoy? Then don't miss the final home game of the season, and it's a big one. It's Military Appreciation Night with the Jacksonville Sharks, sponsored by True Vet Solutions. Sunday, July 26th, kickoff 7:30. Tickets start at just $15. Get out of the heat and into the arena as the Sharks battle the first place Green Bay Blizzard. Active military and veterans get special buy one, get one free tickets. Bring in the whole crew. Try our family 4-pack. 4 tickets, $50 in food or merchandise vouchers, all for $100. Don't miss the powerful military swear-in ceremony at halftime. And join us on the field after the game for a free autograph session sponsored by Flight Adventure Park. To purchase tickets or for more information, go to JacksonvilleSharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 621-0700. Sharks football, where memories are made.
Go Sharks! 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
We have a couple of birthday celebrations today, Tommy.
Yeah, we
a couple
do.
of shout-outs. You
How
told
about
me
that?
Kevin Hardy.
Kevin Hart, K-Hart, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday to Kevin Hardy.
man,
Happy
yeah.
birthday. A little early birthday, but Lauren Brooks' birthday is
That's
tomorrow,
right.
so happy
LB,
birthday to
happy
her.
birthday.
My Aunt Christy, her birthday's today, so happy birthday to
Happy
Aunt
birthday,
Christy.
Christy.
Yeah,
All
a lot of
right.
good birthdays. We were talking about it earlier. A lot of July birthdays.
A lot of July. And we came up with the conclusion that everyone's horny around Halloween. Right? 10 months. I think that's
The
how it
math,
works, right?
math.
Yeah, math, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, it's the sexy nurse costumes, and you were like, or
Yeah.
you put on a scary movie, and
Yeah. It's funny. My nephew, now granted he was older, but he was like late teens, and it was after Harley was born, and he's like, "Wait a minute, Harley's born in September." He's like, "Didn't you visit us at Christmas Eve? You slept in my room." I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
No
I did the
way.
math backwards. nah, wrong math. But
is
yeah,
hilarious.
a lot of July birthdays
Yeah.
for sure. Loggeman just had one.
Yep.
Jeff Logs. So we
It
get
is fun, I guess, when you have a summer birthday. Growing up, you're on summer break all the time for your birthday, so that's kind of nice. I feel like
Yep.
mine always felt, because mine's December 20th, it was always winter break, so it was nice too. I
Yeah.
never had school on my birthday
Yep.
either. It was just opposite of summer.
Yep. So during high school years, you'll love this.
Mhm.
My best friend and I's day before me, 29th. July 29th. I'm July 30th. Same year. And we would, all we wanted to do was go to the Bears training camp practice. And then there was a pizza place on the way home that I can't remember where it was, but it was just unbelievable pizza. And you could literally walk right onto the field. And like I remember, I don't know if you remember Golden Richards. Golden Richards was a wide receiver that got traded from Dallas to Chicago. He caught a pass right in front of me and Brennan, and literally we're like, "Nice catch." He's like, "Hey, thanks, kids." And we're like,
Was it
like,
at
you can touch
Bourbonnais
him.
there?
What's that?
Was it at Bourbonnais at that time, or was it?
No, it
No.
was Lake Forest. I think it was Lake Forest.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Lake Forest.
Gotcha.
I'm all because it was out. It was we're northwest suburbs, a little bit north and a little bit east. But yeah, it was just great, and that's all we cared about. That's all we wanted to do was go watch the Bears practice, go see Walter Payton, go see Noah Jackson, who's a guard, had a massive belly, and he'd be laughing and jovial, and we just thought it was so cool.
That is cool,
And the Bears weren't even good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's
it was
still
like
exciting.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
the best. Like you could, and I remember when we would have camp, you didn't have to sit in the stands. Like you could walk
Just along the
around.
field, yeah.
Now you're outside the fence, but like we're hitting the sleds and you're right there watching, seeing the sweat
Pop off.
You know what I mean? So
Well,
it was so much cool access back then.
Yeah, it is. And we've talked about it here. It's really cool what they've done at the Miller Electric Center. You're not down on the field with all of us, but honestly, it might be kind of nice because
better.
it's hot. It's hot down there. You get the fans up there. You're in the shade. There's concession stands in the back and the pro shops behind. And
Great
so there's
view.
Great view.
Probably
You're
the
sitting
best
up.
view.
Yeah.
Better than us.
Yeah.
Better
So
than
it
us.
is. If you haven't if you go to jaguars.com and reserve your spot at one of those open practices,
Definitely
it's
do it.
definitely a cool time, and it's interesting. You get to just see some things that maybe you get to see the speed of players, and this time of year you do get to see those DBs on receivers and some of those defensive linemen, offensive linemen, some of that stuff, and you get to see Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen do their thing, so that's always
well,
fun.
you are going to see, I think, some fireworks. You see a lot of throws downtown. They want to spread that field, stretch that field, get that safety honest, and then not just Brian Thomas. You saw all the receivers going downtown this off season, and Trevor unleashing and letting it rip. So that's going to be fun to watch during camp.
Which we've mentioned some things that we're excited. The linebacker and running back conversation are two of the things that are going to be focused on in this training camp. Is there anything else for you that you are really is that Trevor BT thing something you are going to be?
So
keeping an eye on?
I'll have one eye on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll have my other eye on. I want to really watch the guard and the two guards in center.
Yeah.
Against our DTs, and just now they're not going to go full speed, but that's why I'm hoping it's a little bit more. You need listen. We would thud on Wednesdays during the season, and it was full pads, or even if we went to uppers, we were thudding.
Yeah,
and it was an inside run drill, 9-on-7, and it got really testy and really physical. It only lasted for like a what do you call segment or two, whatever they call them now. What do they call them? Periods.
Periods,
periods or two. But it was violent and it was quick, and it just kept your that edge, that little physical edge. So look, I know this. They run a ton in this practice. It's a very efficient practice. There's no doubt about it. Liam's got it going on. He's got ones and twos separated. They all get their reps. So it's not like you're waiting for the ones and then the twos. They split them up. They do that kind of stuff.
Always some sort of action that you have your eyes on.
Yep, and they're very hands-on coaching. They're not afraid to stop and say something, correct you. The old school was you teach in the classroom. You don't teach on the field, although you would still. But they're very, very hands-on. So and very, very. What do you want to? They're very fiery. You know, they're into it. They're into it, man. They want it done a certain way, and you better
They're
do
excited.
it that way.
And honestly, I feel like we may even get a little bit more fire because of the way the season ended for them. It came to last year, there was so much unknown and what the expectations were. You weren't sure. Last year, you went from winning 4 football games to 13. You have to have that energy of, okay, that we're a good football team, but also it didn't end the way we wanted it to end. To end.
Listen, you taste that blood.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking earlier on my podcast about not just the blood, but the playoff money. We beat Buffalo. And I didn't know anything, right? And I'll never forget, we're getting undressed in the locker room, and Logs leans over and goes, Tommy Mac, what you do with all that free money? I'm like, the hell are you talking about? He's like, man, we just earned like $13,500 for that game. I'm like,
oh.
Get out of here. He's like, yeah. Boyer's like, yeah, I'm going to buy a motorcycle. I'm like, you're buying a motorcycle? 13.5? I'm like, what happens if we get another like 35 grand? I'm like, 35 grand? What? We ended up making like 70 grand.
Everybody keep winning.
Yeah, you keep winning, you get more, So just, it's not about the money, but that's a nice icing on the cake. But that tasting that blood, you want that so bad. Yep. And it's up to the staff to keep your head level and the veterans. Hey, man, start from scratch. We know we got the talent.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with walking around like, hey, man, we're a good football team, but you got to start from scratch. You got to earn every step of it.
Yeah, you go back down to not totally the studs, but you go because there's a decent amount of new pieces. There's more battles that we're seeing, and we've talked about the foundation and the depth that they've started to build on this team, and so that's a positive thing. But where there's still some competitions out there, and all these guys want a starting spot. Somebody on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures, had an interesting note when they were talking. Well, his first text said, if the Jags wanted to, then why did they go sign Rodriguez? Wouldn't be surprised if Rodriguez is healthy, that they trade to. And we were talking about off air. I don't know if that's the case just because you feel like with those 1-2, but maybe it would have been a little, if it was a J.K. Dobbins, then are you more comfortable going in with Dobbins and then a LeQuint and a DJ Dallas and a Jamari Taylor? I don't know if it would be that sense in that, but this same texter also said Jax should go sign Kareem Hunt. He's one of the free agents right now, which I actually just saw that this morning. I didn't realize he was still a free agent last year. And just 4 starts. He played in all 17 games, but just 4 starts, had 611 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, he's one of those veterans, like a Najee, like him. They would, if you need it, if you need a veteran again, the whole Rodriguez, they went for Dobbins first. So they're, you know what I mean? Like, Rodriguez was a nice pivot for them, and they're familiar. They know what to expect out of him. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They're comfortable with him, but they didn't target him.
Yeah,
they targeted the other guy. And then they went to him because they didn't get the guy they wanted.
Yeah.
So,
which I'm sure he was in conversations hey, if this doesn't work, Chris Rodriguez can run this offense. He's familiar with it. We see what he does. That 4+ yards per carry. Yeah. So I have some lunch to give away on the other side. We also have Taylor's Tangent on the other side. A lot of stuff to still get to. Several texts coming in, so we'll get to some of those. Also, that's all coming up next on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
In your car, at home, or on your phone, radio play-by-play is where you are.
What a game for the Jacksonville defense.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
I'm local attorney Rick Alexander. In my 30 years practicing law, I've learned you never want to choose money over health. It's always a bad deal. Unfortunately, when someone screws up and you get hurt, that choice is gone. Your only choice is whether you face the future with a lawyer or without one. If you're hurt because somebody screwed up, call me at the practice. The Alexander Law Practice, 904-400-6600 or alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Hey, Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned First Coast business for nearly 20 years. Hurricane season is here, so don't wait for that first storm warning. Your fence is your first line of defense. Loose boards, weak posts, or damage can turn into big problems in those high winds. Armstrong Fence Company handles repairs and builds from stadiums to your very own backyard. Get a pre-storm fence check today. Call Armstrong Fence Company or search online. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, checked by Bowden Iron Associates.
It feels like every home services company in Jacksonville has been bought out by some big out-of-town firm.
but not Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. We're still locally owned, still right here in Northeast Florida. That means no call centers and no corporate runaround when you call Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Just experienced pros who live here, work here, and stand behind every job. From simple leaks to full pipe relining, you're getting real solutions from a team that actually cares about the community we all live and work in. Make the superior choice when you need a plumber. Request an estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
So I've apparently become the last person in Jacksonville to realize my clothes don't fit. Hey, it's Greg. You know, all week people have been telling me, those pants are too baggy. That shirt is hanging off you. Even my face looks thinner. I'm starting to look like my sons, which is good news because they're pretty good-looking boys. But then it hit me. These aren't my clothes anymore. They belong to the guy I was 40 pounds ago. Yep, I just crossed that mark before my 57th birthday with Awaken 180. And somewhere along the way, this stopped feeling like a program and it just became how I eat. You know, I'm not fighting cravings all day, guessing on the road, or promising I'll clean it up next month. So now I need a new wardrobe and apparently a new goal. I'm going for another 10. My first grandson arrives later this year and I want more healthy years with him. Listen. Don't wait for the perfect time. I did. Turns out the perfect time was immediately. Start now at awaken180weightloss.com.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel and ONU alumni Michael Dargavel here. The hardest transition isn't deployment, it's coming home. Be part of the solution at ONU's Mission Possible Gala, October 17th at Sawgrass Marriott. For information and to register, go to onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org.
Replacing windows can be a big investment, and you deserve straight answers. Well, at Cash Building Material, I got them. Prosser here. Cash Building Material explain my options, answer my questions, and help me find windows that fit my home and my budget. No pressure, just honest advice. And they'll do the same for you. So before you buy windows or doors, get a cash quote. Search Cash Building Material and click on their replacements tab. Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Summertime is here, and that means it's grilling season. Now, before you overpay at the big box stores, make a stop at Houston's Meat Company on Main Street in Jacksonville. For more than 50 years, Houston's has been Jacksonville's local butcher shop, serving up quality meats, incredible prices, and the kind of service you just can't find at the grocery chain. Steaks, burgers, chicken, ribs, whatever's on the grill this weekend, Houston's has you covered. Shop local, grill better. Follow Houston's Meats on social for updated weekly specials.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Wash the broken dreams downstream till tomorrow.
Well, Tommy Mac, we were talking about it a little bit. You got a Dad Bod show tonight.
Yeah,
Some
man.
more live music coming.
Yeah, can't wait. We're taking the stage at 8 o'clock at Colhane's Irish Pub in Atlantic Beach, right there on Atlantic Boulevard. Switching up the set list a little bit. And
You added some songs?
We added The Doors.
Okay.
And we added a little rockier version of What I Like About You.
Okay. That's fun. Love it.
I did one more, too.
There's a little extra, but it's fun.
That was an extra clap. So close. I will do that tonight. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun, man. Looking forward to getting the band back together and rocking out in Atlantic Beach. We've been back to Colhane's. This is probably our 8th time.
It's awesome.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm going to
Sounds
try
good there.
Got to keep the
Music's
buzz
good
in
there.
balance.
Yeah. We were talking about that. I was like, you're like, I've only done karaoke a couple times. I was like, I've done it a handful of times, but I have to be that good balance of like a little tipsy to be brave enough to go on stage and sing, but not to where I can't remember the words.
And I said, trust me, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I remember our very first gig. Our drummer got so mad at me and the lead guitarist because we got tanked.
Yeah.
You know, we thought rock and
there
roll.
was excitement.
Yeah. You're like, I can't remember the words. Okay, next time.
You're like, Motley Crue did it.
They had other substances, I believe, that kept them to counteract everything. But yeah, so once you learn that, you can't do that. You got to keep it in balance, keep it in check.
Jared, you'll have to make it one time to one of the dad bod shows. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Do you have any that are like post 10 o'clock?
Usually yours are a little more like 8 to 10-ish.
Yeah. Well, 8
but the
to
weekend
11,
sometimes, so you could do a weekend.
Yeah.
As long as the Jags aren't playing.
Yeah, that's what I was
There
about to
you
say. As long as the Jaguars aren't playing. Well, let's get to Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So it's been really fascinating following some of the stories that are coming out of SEC Media Days. We've talked about some of them on the show. I am a known SEC hater. It's just part of what it is, and I lean into that. I know some people are going to hate it. I don't mind the Big Ten. The SEC bothers me. I feel like they play like that, the bully a lot of times, and you're seeing that come out of the SEC. And look, they had 7 straight years where they won the national championship, so they got to puff their chest a little bit, but.
Before paying the kids was legal.
Yeah, now the playing field's been a little leveled, and they're seeing that as all 3 of the last national championships didn't even include an SEC team. But there's a lot of stuff. It's just interesting to me, and I'm going to play a clip of Nick Saban talking about just kind of some of this that's coming out of why the SEC is still great. And I'm not taking that away. I think the SEC is still great. They're very deep. They have a lot of good a lot of good football programs there. But the difference now is that I think that the playing field has been leveled with NIL, with the portal, with the expansion of the college football playoff. You're seeing more chances for other teams. So Indiana's the biggest example of that most recently, but Miami getting back into it. Ohio State's always kind of been up there, so they're there. But I do think that when it comes to what the SEC is doing right now, it's really interesting because all of the things that they're saying of like why they are still the best are all the things that the other conferences and teams used to say and back in the day when SEC did rule the world and they're like, well, we're here too, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and the Big 12 and all of those. And so it is interesting to me because it does feel like they're using, okay, well, our TV, our TV ratings are still the highest. And we still, when it comes to like certain things for the SEC, and Nick Saban will talk about one of them that we'll continue to talk about. But it's just interesting to me that we've gotten to the point now where the SEC has to almost defend why they're still the best because they haven't won the national championship recently. So we're going to throw to this clip, Saban, and we'll continue this conversation about kind of the thoughts. Tommy, I want to get your thoughts on what Nick Saban's saying.
Well, I think first of all, whoever wins the national championship doesn't define who has the best conference. I think the best conference gets defined by how many good teams do you have from top to bottom. And I think the SEC has a lot of good teams from top to bottom. So I do think that the Big Ten has had 3 really, really good football teams. I mean, Michigan had a great team, beat us in overtime in the playoffs, 3 years ago. Ohio State, Indiana, they had really, really good teams. We continued last year. We had 5 teams in the playoffs, as an SEC conference, which says that there's, pretty good depth in this league. A couple other teams, Vanderbilt and Texas, could have got in. So there's a lot of good teams in the SEC. I think every coach is trying to get his team to play at the highest level possible and hopefully get the best results possible. And if that leads to a championship, that's the ultimate goal. But I don't think they feel pressure just because somebody else won a couple championships.
Look, and I'm not taking away, like I said, the SEC has a lot of good teams, clearly. But I do think, and Barstool SEC even said, this is the sort of thing that we used to make fun of fans from other conferences for saying. We should simply try winning national championships again as opposed to making excuses about why we're still the best when the record clearly shows otherwise. The Big Ten has dominated since the college football playoff has expanded in that playoff, playing SEC teams, by the way. And so that's part of it, too. And the SEC has been trying to use this, we have a harder schedule throughout the season.
Beat each other up.
Cool. But the preseason rankings that come out, I've read the stat the other day, 48% of the SEC teams that were on the top 25 last year ended the season unranked. So you do these preseason rankings, making it seem like the SEC has 12 teams in the top 25. By the end of the year, that starts to get eliminated because you start to see the teams aren't as good as maybe you thought they were preseason. It's very difficult to predict that. But I do think that when it comes to what Saban's saying, that's your conference. You were the coach for
He
Alabama.
started
You
at
were
Michigan State,
yeah,
for the record.
by the way.
There,
yeah.
Nick, don't forget.
But it is, and he's talked about you're at the SEC media days, obviously, so that conversation is going to be pro SEC. But it's just really interesting how much the tables have turned in sense of it used to be this world where it was, like I said, 7 straight national champions were from the SEC. Before and after that, it hasn't been the case. Before 2006, there was the mix of, you talk about the Clemsons and Texas pre the SEC and USC won. And so you mix those in. And since then, it's been a lot of Big Ten teams. And so I do think that it's just flipped a little bit. And I personally like it because I do think more parity in college football is fun for the average fan if your team's not winning year to year.
All right. So top teams, if we have time. Top teams, I'll just write them down. Big Ten. Right, Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana as of late. Penn State, bad year last year, but normally considered a really good program.
Oregon now.
Well, Oregon, they need USC to really jump up.
And that's what USC should.
If USC can get back to USC.
You have one of the highest recruiting classes, and you have one of the highest rated portal classes, and you have Lincoln Riley, who everybody wants every single offseason, so you should win.
But the SEC is loaded with really good programs. I mean, they are. I mean, I guess you would. Like Vandy's just come around, while they were the doorstep.
And we'll see.
Missouri was never
Diego
that
Pavia is
great.
going to be gone, so can Vandy do that again?
No, right.
Florida hasn't been in a really long time. It's been a lot of Georgia, Alabama carrying that conference for a long time.
LSU always seems to be somewhere in there. They
had the Natty.
I always feel like LSU's got all the talent. I've thought that since I was in college. Like they just got a ton of talent.
Yeah,
they're fast. They're big. They can play football. They don't always win every game, of course, but they got the athletes out there pretty much every single game. Yeah, look, again, we go back to these things, and they're all valid. But until we all get on the same page, you can't tell me who's the better conference right now. I don't think you can. You could make an argument for the SEC. Of course you can. You could make an argument for most of the Big Ten. The Purdue's of the world, Minnesota. I get it. Well, then you could, although Ole Miss has come around, give me another one that Mississippi State's okay.
Yeah.
But Mississippi State's probably equatable, although Wisconsin's down. They used to be up. Wisconsin used to be a great program. They've been down a little bit, right, past couple of years. Yeah. Michigan State used to be they're down, but Iowa, they're up and down. So look, I think it's a good one-on-one overall. That's why you join forces and join and form the Super League and take all the best of the best.
And that's another thing that people are getting frustrated with because the SEC is like, oh, we're going to break off and make our own thing because we're the best. Yeah. You're like, the Big Ten is 4-0 against you in the college football playoff since it's expanded. So you're leaving out a lot of good teams. You're also, by the way, Miami and Florida State and Notre Dame. Like it just doesn't totally.
You're leaving out big TV markets too.
Big time.
Sorry, that ain't going to work.
All right, let's give away some free lunch. We have free lunch to Chick-fil-A. Shout out again for Chick-fil-A. It's dropping off lunch today. They dropped off that honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich, peach milkshake, the strawberry hibiscus lemonade. So all of that stuff just here for the summertime. Make sure you swing by and grab one of those before they are off the menu. But give us a call at 641-1010. Let's say caller number 2. You get free lunch for 2 to Chick-fil-A. And we'll talk some more Jaguars on the other side coming up next on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
As the countdown begins, it's good to know there is still one number you can always count on.
1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialist take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Are you looking for a remix on the original Chick-fil-A sandwich? The honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich is back for a limited time only this summer. It's a flavorful spin on a familiar favorite created with Chick-fil-A chicken, a drizzle of honey, pickled jalapenos, and a spread of savory pimento cheese. This sandwich combines your favorite flavors with a new twist, available for a limited time only. So stop by and enjoy the honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A today.
Bowden Iron Associates.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
You can actually win a side-by-side at Best Bet St. Augustine?
You know it. Only at Best Bet. The more you play, the more chances you have to win.
Poker, great food and drinks, and a chance to drive home in that side-by-side?
That's what all the buzz is about.
Play your favorite poker and table games at Best Bet St. Augustine for your chance to win an incredible side-by-side. Earn entries now through August 7th. Grand prize giveaway happens August 8th.
Now this just got serious.
Get in the action. Feel the excitement at Best Bet St. Augustine. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Get geared up for your golf weekend with Dan, Jeff, and PGA pros on Brunch with the Tour.
Expect anything different?
Tuesday morning at 8:30. Teed up by North Florida Medical Centers and Clearwater Irrigation on 1010XL.
Nobody likes feeling taken advantage of by a service company. That's why homeowners across Northeast Florida choose Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When we come to your home, our job is simple. Find the problem, fix the problem. Charge a fair price, no upselling, no scare tactics, no surprise recommendations designed to sell you more than you need. Quality work from a local team you can trust. Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
One of Beard's Diamond's most popular events ever is back. It's Christmas in July. Right now, for a limited time, you get as much as 40% off anything in our showcases. Yes, that includes engagement rings, fashion rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, colored gemstones. This is the annual store-wide sale that everyone loves, because you get December prices in July. Up to 40% off store-wide. Don't miss Christmas in July. Exclusively at Beard's Diamond at the St. John's Town Center and online at beardsdiamonds.com. Shop local. Shop Beards.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
I'm Alan Tyre with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners Bill Pappas and Ken Rimley want to thank all of our clients, CPAs, attorneys, bankers, and real estate agents who refer us business every day. If you're ready to purchase, build, or refinance your home, call Trustline Mortgage, your hometown mortgage source since 1989. Call us today at 904-381-LOAN, trustlinemortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Trustline Mortgage, NMLS, 331480. Alan Tyre, NMLS, 246490. Bill Pappas, NMLS, 218443. Ken Remley, NMLS, 246445.
Dick in here. See clearly with the Eye Associates and trusted optometrists Zachary Boskool and Alice LaFlamme. From comprehensive eye exams, dry eye care, glaucoma management, diabetic eye care, and more, Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme are dedicated to protecting your vision. Immediate availability at all 5 Jacksonville locations. Schedule today with Dr. Boskool and Dr. LaFlamme by calling the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. The season is around the corner, and it's time to take your year to the next level when the Jacksonville Jaguars return to the bank in 2026. Become a season ticket member and unlock exclusive access to ticketed events, members-only experiences, NFL membership club perks, and more. Availability is limited, so don't miss out. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/season tickets to secure your spot for all of the action. Right now, 95 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Wake up, you're a drama queen, and carry on like you're supposed to be. Get away, hurry up, come on.
Welcome back into hour 2 of Helmets and Heels. Lauren Brooks enjoying vacation, her birthday weekend, some scalloping. Tom McManus here, Taylor Dahl here, Jared Justice here. Tommy, we were talking a little bit about an event coming up, another J Fund event.
That's right.
Event, the Hops That Help.
Yeah.
You wanted to give a little shout out for it.
I did. It's next Wednesday, July 29th, at Southern Swells in Jax Beach, right there on Beach Boulevard. I'm emceeing the night.
Nice.
I was asked to step in and help out, so I'm going to do that. Jordan Fletcher, the country singer-songwriter, will be performing. They had a great silent auction. A ton of items. You go to hopsandhelp.org for your tickets, and we'll be there. Coach Coughlin will be there. It's a good time.
So what's the process of it? More of a hangout and enjoy some music?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
auction?
Very
Okay.
laid back.
Okay.
Very, very laid back. There's no real speech, there's a hello, that kind of thing. And then it's just, hey, bid on the auctions, have a good time, and mingle, basically.
We love the J Fund, so
That's right.
head over to that. You said hopsthathelp.com?
.org.
.org.
For
okay.
organization. .org, yep.
Yeah, good stuff. I know that you've been several years now to attend emceeing this year. Lauren Brooks has been several times. She loves it. She says it's a great time, but obviously a good cause too. You know how much we love the J Fund here.
And I'm told maybe, maybe performing Man What a Life with Jordan Fletcher.
That'll be fun.
That'd be cool.
Have you been practicing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Just in case.
Just in case. That's right.
Just in case.
That's right.
All right. I've mentioned it a few times throughout the show, the under the radar players throughout the league.
Yep.
So I want to go through some, not on the Jacksonville Jaguars. There are a couple that land on this list that are here in Jacksonville. Some other AFC South guys that could be interesting names. One of those, the first one that does, so they kind of break it up into different tiers. This is on CBS Sports, and so it's their under the radar players for the 2026 season. Their first category goes under recognized players ready to make a star leap. So they have 8 of those on this list. DJ Turner, which is the corner for the Cincinnati the Bengals, which, look, the Bengals, that's something, their defense has been bad for a while. That's something that they're trying to fix. They went and got
revamped
out.
the D-line, right?
Yep, they've added a bunch of pieces. Edgar and Cooper, a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. I feel like he's already been pretty good, so I guess they expect him to just take that next leap up. That's something that the Packers have been really good at, developing those linebackers too. Joey Porter Jr., the corner out of the Steelers. Jaquin McMillan, who is the Denver Broncos corner.
Good
so
player.
A lot of corners on this list.
Absolutely.
Then we get to the first AFC South player, which is Josh Downs, the wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. So the note that they put on this is Downs is an undersized slot-only speedster who will take a bigger role this season, with Michael Pittman being traded to the Steelers. After averaging 11.2 yards per catch across his first 2 seasons, that figure dropped to 9.8 last year. Expect Downs to be heavily involved, especially in the quick game, as Daniel Jones works his way back from a torn Achilles.
Well, they got Alec Pierce on the outside. Tyler
They
Warren,
just paid a lot of money, too.
very good tight end, or he's going to be, you think. And Ikeen from Tennessee is now with the Colts, so we'll see if he can add something to him. But Josh Downs,
and obviously Jonathan Taylor.
JT's the man. I mean, we break down the running backs, so I guess it's basically JT.
Yeah.
He's got. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, it will be interesting when it comes to that running back room. They just paid Alec Pierce a good amount of money.
Wide
but
receiver.
to their point, when it comes to wide receiver, Josh Downs, and they mentioned it was over 11 yards per catch in those first couple years. So I'm guessing maybe it's a slow start because you are trying to get Daniel Jones back into this offense. And I don't see them doing a whole lot of deep stuff yet because you want to kind of focus in on some of those easy buttons. We talk about it here. That helps your quarterbacks a lot. But the room doesn't look super flashy, but to your point, they paid Alex Pierce, and Tyler Warren's already in year 1 a heck of a good tight end, and so you're probably going to see him even climb more towards the top of those tight end lists this year.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that's got potential to be a superstar tight end, no doubt.
So just behind that, number 6 on this list is Parker Washington here in the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've talked a ton about Parker, rightfully so. We've had all the conversations on this show about who has the most yards and who has the most catches and who has the most touchdowns. It's so unpredictable because we have no idea what Liam Cohen is planning and what this offense will look like. That's kind of the fun part about it right now, is there's so many different ways you can imagine this going from week to week. But their little note on Parker Washington. Washington seemingly played his way onto the radar late last year, surpassing 100 receiving yards in 3 of Jacksonville's final 4 games, including the playoffs. He plays in the slot and out wide and has the juice to get downfield, plus the athleticism and strength to make wow catches. Is his first 1,000-yard season on the way. I think a lot of people could here in Jacksonville would probably say, yes, you could expect a 1,000-yard season, depending how the ball gets spaced out. But Parker Washington is that guy. You have 400-yard games just at the end of last year. If you dive into that right away, I feel like you could see that mark happening.
Okay, so if he's going to be that targeted, are you having him return punts?
That's what Lauren says, no, because she's always scared that people are going to get hurt. He's so dynamic. It's hard for me to say I wouldn't want him on the field, but you obviously don't want to overdo it. But, I mean, you're asking Travis Hunter to play both sides of the ball. You can ask Parker Washington to return every now and then.
Unless
and then
there's
be a
somebody on the roster that breaks out, you're like, he can replace him and we can be okay there. Because he's an absolute weapon.
Who could be that for you? Is there one of the running backs, somebody you see that could do it?
No, I don't think any. Well, I know DJ Dallas can return kicks. So can he return punts? I mean, I would imagine maybe. It's got to be someone real quick and get up the field quick. It could be one of the young guys, the young rookies. I'm trying to think of their now. Williams is one. I don't think Williams, the other guy, the buffier dude. Coleman, is it? No, I don't know. We'll check it out. But he's a young kid that's built like a running back, quick, physical. Maybe a guy like that. But
Wesley. No, that's a different.
But they got to. They got to replace somebody. I would put him back there. I don't know if I'd put him back for every punt return.
Josh Cameron.
Josh Cameron. What did I say? Campbell? Yeah. Cameron. Maybe he could be it. But there's got to be somebody. You just can't say, okay, he's going to play wide out. We'll just figure it out. No, he's a weapon back there.
Yeah, big time.
He should have had 3 touchdowns last year, not 2.
Yep.
That one ridiculous penalty that shouldn't even been called. So I don't know how look, I'm a believer you can get hurt anywhere. You get hurt at practice. We saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it. It's happened to me. It's happened to me in games, but we saw it last year with our star players. So that can happen at any time. So I don't know. I'm more about win now. And if he's my best punt returner and I still got to get him 1,000 yards, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And look, there'll be times where it's unreturnable. So maybe I don't have him out there just doing fair catches. I find someone else I can rely on that. They can at least just catch the ball, secure it. You might look at one of the DBs. Maybe they're guys that have.
Yeah, there are some
punts.
teams that use their DBs. The Bears actually use one of their defensive backs in that sense. So, Parker Washington. I'm that person where I feel like I feel like he's a star and can be a star, and so you want him on the field as much as possible. But then, yes, there's always the risk of whatever. I just feel like Parker Washington. You saw how he could change the game in both areas last year, so you don't want to lose that.
Well, his punt return game helps him in the slot. It helps him make people miss when he catches the ball from Trevor. I mean, it does. He sets him up perfect. He's got that shake and that explosive first step to get up the field. So I don't want to miss that.
After contact, he still is good too. So that's one of the things we saw. And Liam Cohen spoke on a couple of the other ones on this tier is Dan Henley. He's the Los Angeles Chargers linebacker. And then Zach Frazier, who is the Pittsburgh Steelers center. That's going to be, obviously, when you hit on those centers and you feel like they can be stars, that's a big advantage for you on that offensive line, especially with some of those defensive linemen that they face in that division. So we'll continue this on the other side because they have a couple other tiers. You'll see another Jaguar on this list and maybe some other AFC South players. So we'll continue this conversation on some of these under the radar players coming up next right here on Helmets and Heels.
Well, I can't believe Sir Steven Spielberg, the grooviest filmmaker in the history of cinema, is making a movie about my life.
Dan Hicken.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Helmets and Heels Friday.
Written by Bowden Iron Associates.
Jaguars fans, grab your passport. Open and fund a new Everbank Performance account for your chance to win the Everbank London Getaway Experience. One winner gets round-trip airfare for 2, 4 nights hotel, and 2 tickets to the Jags game in London this October. Start your journey today at everbank.com/London. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 6/29 to 8/27/26. Get official rules and details at everbank.com/London Rules. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A. Member FDIC.
Take a walk on the wild side and step into the great outdoors. Look at this beast. Captain Kevin and Captain Kirk join Jeff Lageman every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on the Nimnicht Outdoors Show. You got it. On 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. 0% financing is back at Nimnicht Chevrolet, but don't expect it to last. This is one of Chevrolet's most popular offers, and right now, qualified buyers can get 0% financing for 60 months on select Chevy Silverado 1500 trucks and Chevy Equinox SUVs. Take it from me, I know it. Nimnicht is the best place to get cars and trucks. They treat you right. Visit nimnichtchevy.com or head to Nimnicht today. Where do you get the best prices and the best financing? That's easy. Nobody but Nimnik.
Feel a vibration in your steering wheel at highway speeds? That's not something to ignore, and a standard tire balance might not fix it. At G&H Tires and Service, they offer Road Force Balancing, an advanced system that simulates how your tire actually performs on the road to detect hidden issues. It goes beyond traditional balancing to reduce vibration, improve handling, and extend the life of your tires. Newer vehicles, especially with low-profile tires, demand this level of precision. Drive smoother. G&H Tires and Service on Beach Boulevard, where your ride gets dialed in right.
Attention contractors. Stop wasting time dealing with permits yourself. Use PermitRockstar.com. Their permitting platform helps contractors cut permitting delays by up to 80%. Stop waiting and start building with PermitRockstar.com.
It's time to get your kid in the game with I-9 Sports. From North Jacksonville to Fleming Island, Neptune Beach to Orange Park. I-9 Sports makes it convenient for you just one day per week. Fall and winter registration open right now at I-9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah.
A happy Friday here on Helmets and Heels. We've made it back to football season. Camp starts. They start reporting this weekend. We will be there next Wednesday, so finally get some more content with us of multiple joint practices we get to see here in Jacksonville. So it's going to be a fun camp.
We'll still talk wrestling from time to time, but it's football season.
We'll still talk wrestling. No more soccer for a while. No more soccer for a while.
Thank the Lord for the night then.
Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted.
It was a good time. Like I said, I had no idea. I didn't know. I knew the very base of soccer, but when the World Cup started, so learning some of the things that I had no idea about was kind of cool. In 4 years, when the World Cup's back, we'll talk about it again.
The physicality was cool. The flopping's not cool.
Yeah.
And I know it's part of it, but it's just, whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, they flop at football.
Yeah.
They surely flop at basketball.
The
Are you
NBA,
kidding me?
they're
They
floppers
flop
for sure.
like pancake floppers.
The guy, LeBron, that just got traded to Philly, or I guess signed with Philly as a flopper.
Oh, more than
He's
a flopper. You touch him with a fingertip and he falls down, crying like you broke my arm.
All right, I want to go over the last few of these the under the radar guys. Like I said, different tiers on here, and then we'll get to Tommy's take coming up. But so they have some bounce back candidates. I'll go through those quick. A guy like Jalen McMillan down in Tampa. He's somebody who you really saw flashes of pretty quickly. He suffered a neck injury though in the preseason, and so it was a little bit interesting for him last year. So they're expecting him to be back. Darnell Mooney is one of my favorite personal. I love Darnell. I think that obviously his time in Chicago, Atlanta, he's one of those guys where he's probably more of a wide receiver 3, maybe a wide receiver 2 on some teams, but he's not the biggest guy, but he can play like a bigger guy. He almost reminds me of a Parker in a sense of he's not a big huge receiver, but he can play slot and he can go deep if you let him. And a lot of people don't really realize he can play both sides of that. Braxton Jones in Chicago is another one that lands on this. Dan Moore, the offensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans. But if you scroll down, they have another tier where it's second-year jump. And so a guy like Xavier Watts lands on this list. Xavier Watts was already so good last year, and so they're expecting that to continue. But another name that is going to be interesting to pay attention to around here is going to be Houston Texans wide receiver Jalen Knoll. He was one of the guys they drafted, obviously, Jalen Knoll and Jaden Higgins in that same draft. Both of those wide receivers I was personally really high on coming in. And so Christian Kirk is out the door now, and so you're finding a way to replace him. Tank Dell coming off of an injury. They said he's working, he's getting worked back in, but how quickly he's going to be able, because that's a whole different world with Nico Collins there and what they have in Dalton Schultz too, and then now adding and hopefully in their mind fixing the run game. You don't want to see that here. So
Jalen Knoll is also a great returnman. Great in the special team, so he's definitely a weapon.
Yeah, so they said Knoll will likely slide in as Houston's top slot option for an offense that needs a second pass catcher to emerge behind Nico Collins, like I said, because you're still kind of TBD on what Tank Dell looks like. And and even if he's through camp, Tommy, we've talked about it. There's one thing to go out there and run. It's another thing to get hit and make some of the cuts you have to as a wide receiver.
Yeah, cutting on instinct is the true test.
So the next tier on here is known face, new place, and there's a few. Jawan Jennings is on this list. Rasheed Walker, Garrett Bradbury. But another name that lands on here is another Jacksonville Jaguar, Chris Rodriguez. And so we've talked a ton about Chris Rodriguez. Their note on C-Rod is the former Commanders bruiser landed in Jacksonville on a 2-year deal and could slide right into the starting role. Rodriguez won't provide much in the way of explosive plays or receptions, but his 53.1% rushing success over the last 2 years ranked third among 69 running backs with at least 100 carries.
Okay, what is that? Like, what is a rushing success? Like, you fall forward, you don't lose yardage?
I think it's, you're not losing, not negative yardage.
Not negative yardage. Okay, good.
Yeah.
53%.
Wow. Third highest, or is that what it said? Yeah, third among 69 running backs. That's a good number.
No, it's great. I'm just like 53%. That means like 47% of the time you are being knocked back.
Or stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Okay. You think it'd be higher,
that was one of the things that,
like for anybody?
If it's third highest, that means that I'm guessing the normal and average is probably more like 40%.
45,
something around there, which we were talking yesterday, the stat about the defenses and those red zone touchdowns were surprising to us too. So I do think sometimes you have this mindset of like a really good defense stops somebody 70% of the time, but that wasn't the case. It was around 55% of the time. So it says rushing success percentage measures consistency and efficiency by tracking the share of run plays that gain a productive minimum yardage based on down and distance. So I guess it does change depending. So if it's a 3rd and 10, you don't have to get that 10 yards, but you still it's calculated differently for different down and yardage. It sounds like instead of looking at
6 yards on a 3rd and 10, it's a successful run.
Gains at least 40 to 50% of the required yards.
Okay.
Is what that number, I guess, is that.
Okay, so if I need 10, then I got to get 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it even actually breaks it down. This is interesting. Yeah. So it breaks it down even more. First down. So first down, if you gain 40 to 50% of the required yards, that's in a successful percentage run. And second down, you have to gain 60 to 70% of the yards. And for 3rd and 4th down, it's 100% of the yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, because you move the chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Got to move those chains.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good stat. Let's see if that, that stat on paper looks good on the field.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the conversations. One more other AFC South, Jermaine Johnson, the second for the defensive end for the Tennessee Titans, said sent to Tennessee and a swap for Devondre Sweat. Johnson reunites with Robert Saleh in the Music City. Johnson looks like an emerging edge rusher in 2023 when he had 7.5 sacks and made the Pro Bowl, but he tore his Achilles in early 2024 and wasn't very effective in 2025 coming off of that ACL. So they're kind of expecting a bump there alongside Jeffrey Simmons and John Franklin Myers.
They got a good defensive line. And we went through you heard the tail of the tape with me and Tony on Jaguars Today, going over the AFC South, all of our positions. And D-line was a tough one to pick. And they might be most improved.
Yeah.
At least on paper.
Well, they had a lot of money to improve, so that helps.
They did, yeah.
And a lot of holes to fill to improve also.
Absolutely. But you got Jeffrey Simmons, who you'd probably pick out of everybody,
almost anybody,
out of the
like
D-line.
in the whole AFC South.
In the AFC South,
definitely.
Probably pick him first.
Yep. All right, let's get to Tommy's take.
Let's do it now.
Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, or dial pound law. That's all.
All right, my take today on this beautiful Friday afternoon brought to you by Morgan. And Morgan is on the heels of that tail of the tape that we did this morning. It was interesting because I have ADD, right? So I didn't totally hear the entire assignment. I just ranked the best, all right? So we take quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end together, O-line, D-line, linebacker, defensive back, special teams, coach, and X Factor.
Okay.
Then every team in the AFC South who has the best group.
Of each of those
right?
groups. Okay.
Quarterback was easy. It was Trevor. It was Trevor.
Yeah.
But what I learned, the assignment that I didn't see was he wanted me to rank 1 through 4, and then we tally up the points.
Okay.
So the lower the points, the better. Okay?
Okay.
So what this which was very interesting exercise did for me is it solidified how I think the AFC South is going to go. Jax and Houston, are going to go toe-to-toe.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight. And then you're going to have Tennessee and Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis, then Tennessee.
Yeah.
And when you go through the list, it's some of it was tough. I got to admit. But like, for instance, and I'm sure I know who you're going to pick, but hear me out. So D-line, you immediately think of Hunter and Anderson Jr. with Houston. Then they got to be the best, right? They're the best edges. There's no doubt. 50 sacks among the both of them in 2 years. That's phenomenal.
Do you include the pairings of them, or are you ranking like, hey, I think Will Anderson is the best?
No, I didn't do any of that. Just as far as D-line as a whole. So then you look at Sheldon Rankins. Really good player, but not an outstanding player.
no.
He ain't no superstar.
Would you take Eric Armstead over?
I would
Sheldon?
take Eric Armstead.
I think I would too, actually.
I would. So overall, I picked the Jags D-line to be number 1 in a really tight because, yes, they have the best edges. I don't think they have the best entire front four.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you look at Tennessee. They've gotten better on paper. John Franklin Myers, you mentioned it. Of course, the Colts, they were interesting too, because if they get a healthy DeForest Buckner, same
Which
as
they didn't have last year.
They did not have last year. Same for us if we get a healthy Eric Armstead. He may be even a little bit more productive, but pretty close.
Yeah.
They're both at the top of the food chain. Latu, the edge, had a great rookie year. Can he do it? Grover Stewart, if he's off the juice, he's great. Doesn't get caught. And then we'll see from there. But yeah, I picked the Jags as a unit. Now, Armstead's got to stay healthy. Devon's got to have another great year. They got to find something out of either a Row or Regis or Bohannon, whoever. One of those three has got to do something on the interior.
Well, and you want to
defensive line.
see the Josh that you've seen, the Josh Hines Allen of too.
Yeah.
Because
well,
I think
that'll
if you
help.
were to go around and poll people around the league and say, would you take Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen or Will Anderson? And
who it is.
Yeah, everyone's taking
Hands
Will
down.
Anderson and Danielle Hunter at this point in time. That could flip. If you go back and you have a Trayvon Walker 11 sack season again, and Josh Hines Allen, you're not asking for 17 again, but let's say 12. Both those guys get double digits, and then one of those guys behind them, we talk about the pass rush in general. Those guys get 5-6 sacks in those interior. You see Eric Armstead grow again. He had 5.5 last year and was
an
injured.
year.
So you say, let's say 7 sacks from him, then all of a sudden I do think that conversation gets tighter even outside of Jacksonville.
Let me get a little pop quiz. All right. Not that you have to know the players, but who did I pick for linebackers? AFC South. Who's got the best linebackers in the
So I know
the quartet?
The Colts are young.
Colts are young.
Yeah.
But promising.
Yeah. I think just because they're expecting probably that rookie to start, I don't see you doing that. I would maybe say
Yeah, Shahir.
I don't know, Shahir Aziz is up there. I mean, would you?
I went Tennessee.
I was
and I'll tell you
I
what.
was about to ask. Did you
Cedric
go Tennessee?
Gray,
Yeah.
Cody Barton.
Gray.
Both those guys are really. Cody Barton's a great cover linebacker.
Cedric Gray, when we were going over the linebacker stats, was number one in almost every. Him and Devin Lloyd were right there in almost every category. But when you talk about a guy that doesn't miss tackles, that can drop back into coverage, that has a decent pass rush grade, and can stop the run, he checks all those boxes.
And if it's a rookie, Anthony Hill Jr. Turns out you're going to have a hell of a trio right there.
Yeah. It could
Now,
be dangerous.
if we had Devin, I would have picked us number one, hands down. But
Well,
I don't care what.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Imagine that Tennessee, if everything clicks for them defensively with that, you have John Franklin Myers and obviously Jermaine Johnson that they added on the edges now. You have Jeffrey Simmons in the middle, so that's automatically, okay, you're going to be able to. And then to your point, if Anthony Hill comes out, we were both big fans of him in the draft aside Cedric Gray. The front of that defense can be dangerous.
Keep in games.
Yeah.
It can keep in games is what it can. And look, just back to, you got to replace Devin. You say you have, but until you show it, you haven't. My opinion.
Yeah, and that's what one of the biggest conversation points. I know people that are coming, all the fans coming out to camp, their eyes are going to be a lot on the linebackers and the running backs because that's a big conversation.
That's why we need a little more physicality
yeah,
we can see who can
some more
thump.
thuds out there.
That's right.
All right, we get the golden moment on the other side, so we will get to that coming up next right here on Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hello, you're on the air. There's more to 1010XL than radio. 1010XL is multimedia. All communication lines are clear. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Find 1010XL on your social channels.
Renewal by Andersen is celebrating America's 250th anniversary by giving $250 off every window and door. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. You're getting American craftsmanship and their signature service. This offer ends July 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partners of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Hey, I know how awful it is to get injured out there, but never due to someone else's negligence like many of you listening. Tom McManus here. If this speaks to you directly, check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. Why? Because all they do is win, 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 like over $30 billion winning, recovered for all their clients. And guess what? They don't get a single dime unless you do. A proven track record, no doubt about it. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, yeah, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect. You're going to get paid. Dial pound law on your cell or check out forthepeople.com.
It's a Helmets and Heels
Bowden Iron Associates
Friday.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I can tell you, in this financial climate, or really any, it's never been more important to make your money work for you, which is why I'll recommend Mike McGuire and the wealth management team at South State Bank. Financial planning is based on trust because it's so important. You can trust the South State team. They offer the best combination of sophisticated wealth management strategies with a truly personal approach. That will help you meet your financial goals. Stop by your local South State branch and ask them to connect you with Mike McGuire and the wealth management team. You'll be glad you did. South State Bank, member FDIC.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it.
Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of essentials. Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. You've heard me talk about the Rolex my grandfather gave me for graduating from college, but there's something else you need to know about Rolex watches from an official Rolex jeweler for over 60 years. If you own a Rolex, probably today more than ever before, if you need that Rolex serviced, you should only visit an official Rolex jeweler. In North Florida, there are 4, with Underwood's 3 stores, and Mayors has 1. Anybody else claiming to work on Rolex has no direct access to parts, and the use of non-authentic Rolex parts jeopardizes your Rolex from both an authenticity and a value standpoint. At Underwoods, we have state-of-the-art Rolex repair shops, both designed and outfitted by Rolex and staffed by Rolex watch technicians trained by Rolex. And best of all, our shop is on premise, so your Rolex will never leave Jacksonville, and our Rolex repairs carry a 2-year warranty. At Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farrah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, our golden moment for today. We've been talking a lot about the running back room, the run game in general in the NFL, and but especially here in Jacksonville with the departure of Travis Etienne, and then now the addition of Chris Rodriguez, some of these other guys, and a Jamari Taylor, a DJ Dallas, a LaQuint Allen, what that looks like this season. But it made me interested, Tommy, to go through, because there was this point of time 5-6 years ago or so where it really felt like the running back was kind of just getting tossed to the side in a lot of conversations. You were like, everybody was like, well, I don't want to pay a running back that. I don't want to draft a running back that high. And everyone kept pointing to, including myself. I have a tweet where it goes through and it talks about this stretch of time where the running backs, the Super Bowl winning running back, made like under $1 million in 8 of 10 years or something like that. And it was like a Sony Michel was there twice. A LeGarrette Blount was on there. I think it was a Pacheco in the beginning. Guys like that. And so I was interested just because I do think that as we've watched this last season and Kenneth Walker and the role he played in the postseason and getting Seattle to the Super Bowl, we know their defense was a huge part of it, and Sam Darnold played well, but Kenneth Walker ran his butt off in the postseason.
He did.
And so I think that, and it obviously earned him a contract, but then the year before, too, with Philly winning, it was a lot of Jalen Hurts and a lot of Saquon Barkley, and that run game carried that through the postseason, too. So I was interested to go and look, and so I went back and I was seeing how far I had to go back to see where the Super Bowl winning team didn't outrush the opposing team.
Okay.
So 26, 25, 24, and 23. So the last 4 Super Bowls, the winner outrushed the opposing team.
Okay. Fair.
So go back to last year, the Seahawks, obviously, I just mentioned Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker had 135 yards in that game. He had over 1,000 on the season, being running back number 2 to Charbonnet, by the way, which obviously Charbonnet got an injury. Then that earned him a contract this year, 3-year, $43 million, so he's making $14.3 million average, which is the 7th highest in the NFL. We were at this age, like I said, about 5-6 years ago, where the running backs were like, well, we're only going to pay them around $5 million. And now we're seeing this surge again of 14. You have some guys like a Jahmyr Gibbs and a Bijan Robinson who are probably going to be more like a Saquon Barkley around in that 20, because Saquon makes about 20 average a year. The Patriots in that game, though, only had 79 rushing yards and their loss. Ramondre Stevenson, who was their lead back, Travion Henderson being a rookie, I think a lot of people are expecting him to take another step up. But Ramondre Stevenson even was the 11th highest paid. He makes 4 years, $36 million, $9 million average, and then Travion obviously being on a rookie deal. In 2025, the Eagles had 135 rushing yards. Saquon is the 9th highest paid, 2 years, 41, like I said, 20 average. The Chiefs only rushed for 49 yards in that game. Kareem Hunt being that, who we mentioned earlier in the show, is a free agent. He had over 600 yards and 8 touchdowns with them, but they weren't able to run once they got into the postseason, and it definitely caught up with them. In 2024, the Chiefs, who won, had 130 rushing yards that year between Mahomes and Pacheco. Pacheco signed a small deal with the Lions this offseason. David Montgomery goes to the Texans. They bring in Pacheco on a 1-year, $1.8 million. So not a lot of money there, but they obviously already have Jahmyr Gibbs to kind of lead the way. But the Chiefs beat the Niners in the Super Bowl that year, and the Niners still had over 100 yards, but 110. McCaffrey had 80 yards in that game. He's the 10th highest paid, 2-year, $38 million, 19 average. And the year before, in 2023, the Chiefs had 158 rushing yards with Pacheco that year. And then the Eagles, they beat the Eagles, who had 115 yards in that game between Hurts and Kenneth Gainwell. And so then you go back, and 2022 is the last time that you have to go all the way back to 2022 at this point, to where the Super Bowl winner was not the lead rusher in the game. So I think that, to me, shows a little bit of indication. We talk about it in that Buffalo game of how you abandoned the run in the second half, and you were still scoring points, but what you were doing is giving the ball. You you were giving Josh Allen the ball, and that's what I think a lot of teams are saying. Okay, if you want to win these games, keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, and he's not going to be able to win this football game.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like it feels like towards Ezekiel Elliott's end of his career, the rhetoric was, we don't need the running back.
Yeah.
And then Saquon or some, because it changed into game breakers.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bijan. You mentioned Gibbs.
He's
They're not
insane.
just running backs.
Yeah.
They're game breakers.
Yeah.
That's why they were drafted so high. So then it started coming back. I always felt like, because I always found it funny, we don't need running backs. We can find a running back off the street, whatever. You always need a running back when you need one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when you don't have one, when you need one, like that 4-minute or that first down. Or remember, was it 2 years ago? We couldn't get a first down on 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
We get smashed every time. You're
Just getting stuffed behind the line.
Just getting stuffed all the time. That kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I know.
But then it's come back, and then you think of like Saquon in the years he's had, the Gibbs, those guys.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane now.
I mean,
yeah.
Come on,
Christian McCaffrey. Yeah.
I mean, these guys are game breakers. They can take it to the house on any given play. That's, I think, what, instead of the 3 yards in cloud of dust, remember that whole deal? Like, let's just
Which it
run
felt like
the
it was
clock.
turning to.
Yeah, and then it got boring almost, and they're like, you know what? We'll just throw the ball. And then you figured out, well, we like throwing the ball, but we need a running game to balance this
we also
off.
need something
and by
else.
the way, we'll take a game breaker with that running game to go the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's funny. I mean, look, it's going to be cyclical. You'll go through it again. There'll probably be a time where they'll be like, yeah, do we really need the running back? And then you're like, yeah, we need him when we need one.
Yeah.
I
mean, we saw
have
that.
one.
Like I said,
Yeah.
in the playoff, you
Yeah,
saw
totally.
that. And granted, you feel like a lot of people would say, okay, well, Liam Cohen stopped using Bashal Tutin, but if you had a Jonathan Taylor on your team, were you going to not give the ball to Jonathan Taylor in the second half? I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Jared, a little bit, because obviously coming from Vegas and drafting Ashton Genty, I know there was a lot of conversation around that. Is it worth it to draft a running back that high? What was the mindset there overall when it came to using a high draft pick on a back?
Well, so the Raiders fans very much love shiny things. So they love whenever they get like Henry Ruggs or something like that. Like just like he's fast.
Here's our shiny toy that we can use. Yeah.
Did you see Ashton Genty run? He had to get taken out in the third quarter. That's how good he is. And then but what they don't remember then is like, oh, our offensive line is an absolute like tragedy. It's held together by MDF and hope.
Yeah.
And so Ashton wound up being like hit behind the line more than any other running back in like I want to say the last like 10 years. And so I think his depth of hit at one point last year was like -5 yards. So his first contact was behind the line of scrimmage.
I remember reading that stat, and I'm like, that's crazy, because even though he was that guy, which he's a bulldozer guy and he could run people over, but you need some help around that to be able
if you have to go 9 yards to get 4 yards every time, it's kind of
First of
no
all,
fun.
Running over, like, you're not running over a D lineman unless you're maybe Henry. You might run over a backer, but most backers you're not running over.
Yeah.
I mean, you might run over a DB, maybe not a safety, but maybe a corner. I can see that. It's like, when you hear, they run over, you're like, man, do they really run them over?
Yeah.
How many guys have you seen getting
Derrick
trucked?
Henry is about the
Derrick
one.
Henry will truck your ass with a stiff arm, send you to hell. You go through the earth, but other than that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
So to kind of like further like, so basically what it ended up being by the end of the season was this thing of like, why did we waste so much capital? Why did we even draft a running back if we were going to put pieces beside him? But when they first drafted him, it was,
we don't need anything.
No, right.
He can do
just
everything.
hand it off 100 times.
Al Davis, too, God rest his soul, he was notorious for grabbing speed. That's wide receiver speed.
Oh, yeah.
If you could fly, he's drafting you.
Yeah.
I mean, he just thought that was the greatest thing. I remember they drafted a kid out of West Virginia, John Jett. And he ran like a jet. I mean, he was super duper fast. I don't think he could make any cuts, but he could run straight. And he drafted him wicked high just because he had the speed. He thought, I'll just throw it down the field. Remember,
no one
way
can catch
back
him
in
if
the
they
day,
can't
it
catch
was.
him.
That's what they were. They whipped it down the field, and Cliff Branch would go make great catches and stuff.
I was looking just real quick to see, because of the top running backs of this last year, when it comes to yardage, James Cook had the most with 1,621 yards. Behind that, Derrick Henry 1,500, Jonathan Taylor 1,500, Bijan 14, Devon Achane 13, Kyron Williams 12, Jameer 12, Christian McCaffrey 12, Javonte Williams 12, Saquon 11, Travis Etienne 11, and then DeAndre Swift with a little over 1,000. When you look at where those guys were drafted, second round, first round, second round, first round, third round, fifth round for Kyron Williams, obviously, but first round, second round, first round, second round.
And what can all those guys do for the most part? Take it to the house. To the house.
Yep.
See
Score
you later.
touchdowns.
Smell you later.
Speed.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not maybe
gone.
full. Some of them you're talking about, we just mentioned Derrick Henry will run some people over, but
You don't see him get caught from behind, though, much, Taylor.
Definitely
you know
not.
what I mean?
All right, we're going to wrap things up on the other side. Tommy will say hello to the lead and Hayes Carlion, and that will be coming up, and that will do it for us after that. But first, let's hit break.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Lauren Brooks here. If you're like most of us at 1010XL, you have a list of things you want to get done before football season begins. Make an appointment today to check out Closets by Design's new showroom on Phillips Highway, especially the awesome man cave with a full bar. Closets by Design can customize the perfect entertainment space for you to gather for game days, designed around your lifestyle and budget. Call 904-878-9393 to schedule your free in-home design consultation and get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and free installation, or online, closetsbydesign.com.
Look no further, folks. I've found the best wings in Jacksonville. Frank Frangie here. Bono's Barbecue now has the best wings, and my new go-to wing flavors are garlic parm and lemon pepper. Nothing cools you down this summer like their new strawberry lemonade. So head to Bono's today and get 6 wings and a side for $10.99 or a 10-wing basket for just $15.99. But hurry, this deal ends July 31st. To find a Bono's near you, head to bonosbarbecue.com. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Bowden Iron Associates. Helmets and Heels Friday.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off air duct cleaning as well. Hick it here. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Take advantage of the savings.
Prosser here. Who are you? Really? 1010XL wants to know. Just by filling out the listener survey on 1010XL.com, you could win Jags tickets to the home opener, Gator football tickets, Jumbo Shrimp tickets, and more. All you have to do is tell us more about you. Fill out the 1010 listener survey at 1010XL.com. What kind of vehicles do you drive? Are you a business owner? What part of 1010XL do you like the most? We want to get to know you better so we can serve you better. Go to 1010XL.com, fill out the survey, and you could be a winner.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infinity is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infinity is inspected, factory-backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship-level service as a brand-new Infinity? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfinity.com or visit Atlantic Infinity off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter? I came right over.
It's my water, Jason. Smell this.
Yeesh.
That came out of my tap, Jason. I'm worried there's a lot more in there than just H and 2 and O.
Well, yeah. In Jacksonville, we have some of the hardest water in Florida. There's calcium carbonate in there and magnesium sulfate and...
I'm sorry, calcium... what now?
It's the same stuff that makes those cool stalactites in caves.
Well, it's making my shower all powdery, my tap's all crusty, and caves make me claustrophobic.
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Call Bueller Air and Plumbing, and our water treatment experts will do a free water quality test. We'll check for minerals, bacteria, anything that might make your water smelly or damage your plumbing or appliances.
And if it's bad, you can fix it?
Your glasses will come out cleaner, your shampoo will lather better.
I like a good lather, Jason.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Growing up or just going down, it's just a matter of time until we're all found out. Take our tears, put them on ice, 'cause I swear I'd burn the city down to show you the light. We're the therapist.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, winding things down here, getting ready for the weekend, and a lot of fun stuff coming up, Tommy. We've talked a lot about kind of the expectations and things we'll be looking at for camp next week and for the upcoming weeks. And so I think there are some storylines. There's some battles we like to see. I think you want to just see Trevor come into and it look like, okay, this is the Trevor. We saw the accuracy, the timing, some of those things, and then be able to start to perfect the other stuff, because I've said this a few times on the show. I don't even think we started to see even the slightest glimpse of what a Liam Cohen full playbook and offense could look like.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's why he wants the running game to get going.
Yeah.
And wants his quarterback to let it rip and wants to go downtown because it all benefits his offense. And it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's not rocket science. It's just you open things up when you got a deep threat. You give your quarterback some relief when you got a running game.
Yeah.
You know, you got good balance with that. So they're very, very important. I'll tell you, I mean, look, you could look at this chat. We've done it all season. Or off season. There are a lot of what ifs. You know, if this happens, if
to be determined,
right? So we got to make sure that they come out on top on those. Like running back, like that's a concern. It is. I mean, you got a guy that's hurt, and you got two. And I know what Liam says, but you know, until it's proven, you don't know. You know, you got to get a little more physical up front in the offensive line. You got to figure out who your rotational defensive line is. How about the young edges? I like them.
Yeah.
What if they don't turn out? What if Durfee doesn't turn out to be? What if B.J. Green II more into his modeling career than, you know, rushing a passer?
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, but I'm just saying, like, you don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Strigout takes a step back. Maybe they don't.
Yeah. Well, and Tommy, and I think that we talk about being able to rotate guys on the outside and those edge rushers, because you want to give your other guys some breaks and you want to be able to bring fresh legs out there in certain situations.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But I think another piece of it, and you don't want this to happen, and we're hoping it doesn't, but injuries happen. You just saw Trayvon.
You know it.
If you have a defensive end that you're confident can come in and still, you know, do what Trayvon can do when he's healthy or close to that, do you let Trayvon, like, hey, you sit, get healthy, and then we'll put you back in? But last year you didn't have a player that you felt could come in and even be close to
Brenton
that.
Strange as well. When he was hurt.
A hurt Trayvon was better than anybody else you had on the roster.
And then take Strange. You had no one to replace that at all. You had no backup that was going to do what he can do, at least kind of what he can do.
Yeah.
So
All right, let's say hello to Hayes Carline.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes, we've been talking a lot of running backs today. We've heard a bunch of different things. Liam Cohen spoke yesterday on Bashal Tutin and expecting him to just take that next step up. We played a clip earlier of somebody more in the fantasy perspective, but they were still like, steer clear of Bashal Tutin because Chris Rodriguez is his guy. He recruited him to college, and sometimes coaches get attached to that. But what are your feelings, and how interested are you to see this in camp, what that running back room looks like?
Very interested. I think it'll be a great battle, assuming Rodriguez is full go, which we believe he will be. But I still like Bashal Tutin in this race. I mean, I get Rodriguez is comfortable with Cohen, but running back's a position where that's natural talent more than it is, well, I know the scheme. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain positions, quarterback obviously would be big for that, where knowing the scheme means a lot. Center, tight end, maybe you can, but running back, it's like, make that guy miss. Run through this hole, make that guy miss, take it to the house. So, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't require a cerebral element. Obviously it does, but it's on a lesser scale than a lot. And I just think Tutin is, I think he had a nice rookie year. I saw no reason to think that he shouldn't continue to ascend and is worthy of a bigger role. I like LaQuinn Allen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I'd like to see LaQuinn Allen be more than, and I say just third down back. That's an incredibly important role in an offense. But I think LaQuinn Allen can do a lot of things. We know about protection. We know that he can do a great job with that. But
punch some people if he has to.
Exactly. But I'd like to see him get some carries and some touches and some opportunities to catch the ball. And I thought he looked good in OTAs doing that. So I probably wouldn't put Rodriguez third, but it wouldn't shock me if we get to like week 11 and not because of injury, just because of how it's played out. If Tootin is the number one back, LaQuinn Allen would be viewed as the second most valuable back, and then there's Rodriguez. So should be a lot of fun.
And Tommy mentioned too, we were talking a lot about Parker Washington. If Parker is what a lot of people kind of are expecting him to be, you take that next step, and not saying the offense isn't going to run through one person. We've heard Liam Cohen say that now at this point. But if he is a bit of a focal point, do you still use him in the return game?
I wouldn't. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So to me, I'd find somebody else. You drafted 2 receivers, and Cameron, I think, has the
ability
the
to
resume to do it. So I wouldn't want. I do think because of the fines, because of potential suspension, you don't see a lot of cheap shots anymore on punt return. So I think the Gunners are pretty well schooled on not just laying somebody out, but it's still very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I would not want to put a high level offensive player in harm's way. And
potential of you losing both of those then.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now, if it gets to a point where it's the Texans or you're in the playoffs, then maybe, you try and do some things to generate, additional touches for your key guys. But when it's Cleveland rolling in week 1, I hope it's not Parker Washington back there. As great as he is at it, I just think he's too valuable. So, we'll continue to talk Jaguars coming up on the lead. D-Rock's going to join us at 4:15. He wrote a great training camp preview for ESPN.com. So, D-Rock's a great buddy of ours. We haven't had him on the lead yet, so excited about that. And Mark Long will join us at 5:15 to talk Jags and Gators. We're going to focus more on the defensive side of the ball for both clubs. And Kai Stevens will join us at 5 o'clock to talk Jaguars as well. So lots of fun stuff coming up on the lead.
Thanks, Hayes. We look forward to it.
Guys. All
right. Well, that does it for us today on Helmets and Heels. Training camp and football next week. We finally made it.
Come on.
So for the vacationing Lauren Brooks, for Jared Justice, Tom McManus, I'm Taylor Dahl. Everyone have a safe, fun weekend. We'll chat with you on Monday, but stay tuned for the lead with Hayes Carline and Ryan O'Halloran coming up next.
Yeah. From the Senior Bowl to the Combine, Draft, Minicamp, Training Camp, Preseason, Regular Season, where they go, we go. 1010XL.
Birthdays, anniversaries, and graduations happen year-round. That's why it's good to have Kuhn Flowers on hand to send that floral arrangement with a simple click, call, or showroom visit. This is RJ. Make Kuhn Flowers your go-to when you need to send your love.
It's a Helmets and Heels Friday, enhanced by Bowden Iron Associates.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
This is Frank Frangie. Planning a summer road trip? Before you load up the family and hit the highway, make sure your tires are ready for the miles ahead. Big Chief Tire now offers special online-only tire pricing, giving you access to the best tire deals when you shop through their website. It's an easy way to save money and drive with confidence this summer. Shop online and schedule installation at WeKeepJacksRollin.com. Your next road trip starts with the right tires.